Right then. Hello, we're back from our big trip to Canada and Alaska. And so lovely to see loads of you already in the comments. So hoping you like our new attire. Thanks to the Cruise and Canucks who brought us a big goodie bag full of stuff with all things Canadian, plus Jill knows me so well, and a new notebook. So how awesome's that? Paul said, how long do I have to wear these? I'm getting hot.
Yeah, that's it now.
How did
Calls them by the wrong name, I call them dealy boppers.
How can they make you hot?
I don't know. So much heat. And this is my my new friend.
Yes. So many lovely souvenirs. We think we saw a moose in the river when we were on the it's on the Rocky Mountaineer, wasn't it? The back of a moose, because moose like water, like we explained on last live. They love the water. But we didn't see any horns, did we?
But we can pull this closer now because I couldn't get my head in the shot before with me dealy boppers on. See, yes. Carole trying to get me out the picture. Now, come on.
Fair, anyway,
fair is fair.
So, like I say, it's so lovely to see you all here. We're back. We landed yesterday, sort of early afternoon. As we were with a Titan tour, we had transport straight back home, which was such a relief because after a long flight with Air Canada, which we'll talk about more about them in a moment, it was such a relief that you didn't have to drive, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
So,
not that my driving's bad, I just want to point out.
No. So let's get to, we're going to say hi to everyone as we go along. Kevin's here, which is always lovely to see Kevin. We had such a fab time, as you all probably know by now, with Kevin in Banff. And he says, if you've got a question for us, please start your question with question. Yeah, in capitals so that we can see it, because the comments can whiz by so fast. So please do that.
Now, we've this isn't a question. We met some lovely people while we were on the ship. We got shouted at from the port as our cruise was leaving.
Yes.
And we also got shouted at from the port as we sailed back in. And that was Reese, wasn't it?
Yes, but Reese can't join our live.
No, Reese can't join our live. But Reese told me, now all the people that watch us on the TV, and they say, oh, I can't give you a thumbs up because I'm watching on the TV. He told me that you can still give a thumbs up, and it's something to do with your up and down arrows on your remote.
So if you are watching on the TV and you do enjoy our lives, then do give us a thumbs up, because it helps, obviously, YouTube recognize that people enjoy our content.
It does. And if you do the up and down arrows and it switches to Coronation Street, please come back and watch the end of this.
So we'll say hello to everyone as we're going through. But let's start with some of the questions we've got already. Stephen's here is asking, how's the jet lag?
Terrible.
And is it, what day is this, or am I in what country now? Yesterday, when we got off the transport, we got in and said, right, let's try and stay awake. But we couldn't. So we had a quick nap, but we put the alarm on, had a nap for 2 hours, wasn't it? So, right, now let's try and stay awake till midnight. But by 10 o'clock, I just said I can't. Anyway, went to bed last night. We had actually a good night's sleep last night, didn't we? I woke up about 5:30, which is fairly normal for me. Paul was still snoring at 8:30 this morning.
Was I snoring?
Yes. And then I got up because I thought, we want to finish the episode for the video going out this Friday, which is our next Marella Voyager episode. And I was sat at the computer and I thought, oh my God, I was just falling asleep. So we went back to bed. So we've been back to bed. What time was that? About 12 o'clock. We lasted till midday. And then we woke up at 4:30, wouldn't it? So now we're feeling, just feel like, it's that muzzy, horrible feeling, isn't it? That you just feel, but I'm sure we're sleeping well, so we should get back to.
I think what it is we got up Monday. We got up Monday morning to go to the airport, and then we flew at about 7:45 Monday evening Canada time.
Yeah.
But Carole would say, if I had 2 hours sleep on the plane, that's as much as I did. Carole had somewhere between 2 and 9 hours sleep.
I slept well.
And I don't think the plane was even in the air for that long. So in effect, we missed Monday night's sleep altogether. Well, I did. And then obviously we've slept Tuesday, but we're still owed a day somewhere. So we're trying to sort of get that back in.
So let's go to the questions. So we're getting there, but thanks for asking, Stephen. Ken Goes Cruising's here, so lovely to see Ken and Lindsay. Which was the best part of your visit, the land or sea? Wow.
Oh, I'll tell you something.
That's
If
difficult.
anybody can come up with a better question than that tonight, Ken, I'm going to let you buy them a drink.
They were both, they were both superb in their own rights. I think for me, the highlight of doing the tour was that we covered so much. It was busy. One negative thing, living out a suitcase, was not our favorite thing, but actually having to get up every morning, and when you're moving from place to place, being taken on a tour of another beautiful place in Banff National Park or in Jasper National Park was absolutely amazing. To me, Banff was a huge highlight because I've always wanted to go there, always wanted to go to Lake Louise, which is the idyllic lake that you see. And when you get there, all these beautiful photos that you see, which is how the lake is, but you don't see all those people. Paul put a little short on Instagram versus reality on our shorts on our YouTube. Look at how many people there. It was just mad, wasn't it? Right. Mad. But lovely to see. Sadly, the sun didn't come out when we were at Lake Louise. But that was Banff, I think, was a beautiful, beautiful town, just sat with the backdrops of the mountain. I think that was my favourite part of that land tour. See, we're not classing the Rocky Mountaineer as part of our land tour. We sort of put land tour, Rocky Mountaineer cruise, which is how we're going to vlog it. And Rocky Mountaineer, well, absolutely amazing. Making me go goosey again. Oh, and a bit emotional. What am I like? But it was just absolutely fabulous. I can't wait to put these vlogs together because it was just so special, wasn't it?
I was going to say she's tired and emotional, but she can't. She's tired. She slept 37 hours in the last day, and that's not even possible.
So, and the cruise, Koningsdam, beautiful ship.
Yeah.
Superb service. We only had one blip in the Tamarind restaurant, which wasn't as good as the rest, but it wasn't bad. Alaska, wow. Now, it's interesting because we were obviously cruising with the Cruising Canucks, and they live in Canada, as you probably know if you follow them. And it was interesting their perspective over our perspective and our opinions and thoughts. Because for us from the UK, seeing particularly in Alaska the wildlife, the bald eagles, the whales, the bear, we've only seen one bear, all the deer just roaming around in Banff was absolutely magical. To them, that's like another day at the office, isn't it? So landscape wise, for them, they're used to, you know, all the beautiful mountains and things, aren't they?
Same sun, same different day.
So, but for us, going from the UK, going to Alaska, it was one of those destinations that I think everyone needs to cruise to, isn't it?
Well, not just cruise to. I think all the getting there as well through the Canadian part as well. It was fabulous.
Canada was fabulous. Yeah. Anything to add?
Well, we had that stalker, didn't we, in Banff?
We did.
Kept her in that. Appeared at the airport.
I think that's what I made Banff so special, because Kevin met us when he surprised us at the airport, which I so wish I had my GoPro on as we were walking out with the suitcases, because just did not expect it. We were just looking for the Titan rep, and there was Kevin Austin stood there, which was brilliant. So thanks, Kevin. That really meant a lot. Well, it all meant a lot.
Well, as we walked out, I thought, well, there's a man there pointing at the Titan rep. That's good of him. And I think, well, how does he know that we want the Titan rep?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, he looks vaguely familiar to me.
Oh, so yeah, so many special moments on this trip. It's hard to pick the best. So sorry, Ken, I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Not at all. She just skirted round it and waffled, and you're none the wiser.
No. Andy Carlos says, welcome back. Thank you so much. And Hawks Travels are here. Morris is back. Morris has been away, hasn't he? He's been on the Aurora to Norway, Iceland, and Ireland, and it did not disappoint. Great ship, happy and friendly crew. Brilliant. That's great to hear, Morris, isn't it? Because that's a ship we nearly got on Aurora, isn't it? That's P&O, for those that you don't know. It's their smallest ship in their fleet, which has got a very faithful following, hasn't it, Aurora? Yes. So we would like to do that. So I'm glad to hear you had a brilliant time. And you ticked Iceland off as well, which is something we haven't done yet. So
now I know what you're all thinking.
Do you though?
Paul's got different glasses on.
Oh God. Oh.
About 3 days before we were due to leave, I noticed, like, the glasses that I previously wore, the glass wasn't inside the frame. It wasn't supposed to be. It was a sort of a bonded outside type fella. And I was wearing them the one day, and I see out the corner of my eye, and there was a gap in this corner down here. I thought, well, it's not too bad, but, you know, maybe I should get it sorted. So I go to the opticians. They said, oh, yeah, we can send that off for you. I said, well, let me stop you there then, because that's obviously no good, because I'm going to Canada in 2 days. So I thought, well, if it gets any worse, I can, you know, effect a quality repair of my own. So about 3 or 4 days in, maybe a bit longer, it's getting worse. And I thought, right, so I busted out the Gorilla Glue. And I thought, oh, I got a master plan now. So we always take pegs and string on holiday with us in case we have to do a bit of washing. And Carole said, right, well, if we glue it, and then I can put a peg on it to hold it in place. But what Carole actually did was, when she went to peg it, she slid the peg across the glued area. No, let me tell don't start defending yourself, because we only tell the truth on here. So she must have
say we don't otherwise.
No, of course not. So she managed to touch the glue with the peg before she pegged it all into place. So after the required amount of time, I went to get the peg off, but the peg was actually stuck to my glasses lens. So did eventually get that off, and in a twist of irony, the glasses still weren't fixed. So
and the peg was
stuck to the lens. No, to the lens. So then I had another go, and I managed to stick my finger to the glass. So now this eye on my glasses, which is my proper glasses, has got more glue over it. So basically, I can't see out of it anyway. So I'm on to.
So that plan really worked.
I'm on to reserve.
And as
glasses.
you can imagine, Paul's short. His patience and his language.
When it happened,
I just couldn't stop laughing.
I was laughing. I thought, oh, this is blooming funny, isn't it, honey? And she said, oh, it is. It's a right wheeze. We said, didn't we?
We did. Oh dear. So Lizzie Lou's here. Was lovely to see Lizzie Lou and Mark from California reporting. So nice to see you, Mark. So Morris is asking, have we ever had a pint of Guinness in an Irish pub in Ireland?
Yes.
Yes, in Dublin.
Well, and all the ones I had when I went to Mallow. And
yes. Because we did Paul raced in Ireland, and we took the motor home over, didn't we? And we travelled all through the south of Ireland up to Mallow. So yes. And comments?
Probably the dearest pint of Guinness I ever had, and that was in the world famous Temple Bar in Dublin. And we had a pint of Guinness, and Carole decided for the first time ever in her life she's going to have an Irish coffee.
Well, me and my naughty friend Sally.
She doesn't like whiskey, but oh no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the dearest pub in Ireland to have an Irish coffee.
Yes.
And the Irish coffee, well, the pint of Guinness and the Irish coffee was, I think, about £22. So it was about €25. And bearing in mind, Carole doesn't like whiskey.
I enjoyed it. Me and
so
really
it was something ridiculous, like it was €10-ish for the Guinness, and it was about 13-ish euros for the coffee.
Yeah, Ireland's not cheap, that's for sure. Maureen's here, as is Jack, saying even from this wet evening in Hampshire. Yeah, it's been, since we've been away, we've had family staying at our house, and they haven't needed to water the garden at all.
No.
So, yeah, and our garden's like a jungle, isn't it, Pauline?
Oh, yes, about 4 foot of grass.
Yeah.
We're going to bale it when the sun comes out.
Yeah, that's right. So, Jamie's on the same cruise as Morris on Aurora. Totally agree with the comments. Wonderful cruise. Our camera's right in the crow's nest, but we didn't hear sound. Excellent. And Morris said, obviously, it was on my bucket list. It was brilliant. So that's talking about Iceland, I presume, there. So, yes. And Kevin's saying, please hit the like button. That'll be great.
Hit the like arrow on your TV remote.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave it a few we leave it a few seconds. And then once you've gone to, the one show or whatever now, because I just realised Coronation Street's not actually on.
I don't know what time it's on these days, is it?
Well, it's never on at 7. It'd be Emmerdale, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
The one show. Channel 4 News, I don't know.
Barbara says, nice to see. Glad you had a good time. Nice to see you back for a live chat. Yeah, we do. We tried to do, as some of you were there last week, which was great. It's just the signal looked okay, but obviously we were a little bit blurred, weren't we? But at least you could hear us, so that's good.
I heard that people said that we've never looked so good.
Yeah, that's true. And that's a good point, Andy. After hearing lots of negative about piano stuff, being happy, it's nice to hear Aurora's a happy ship. Yeah, because Iona wasn't. No, it wasn't. Iona wasn't. So it's good to hear Aurora are. So let's see. There's lots of
you
hellos.
You can tell I got new glasses on, because normally from here I can read the comments over there.
So Lindsay, hello. I'm still looking for about the adventure and the big decision ahead. Do I book the dream holiday? Yes, do it. So Lynn's got a glass of wine ready. We've had plenty of drink this last week, so we're on water and Coke. Yvonne's here as well, so lovely to see you. And also the boys are here. So Trevor, Johnny, Will. So thanks so much for joining. And they're watching from a very wet, miserable Belfast. Yeah, I think it's like that same all the way, isn't it? And Kevin says, yay, Canada. And loving the headbands. Oh, they didn't last very long, did they?
No.
And Scott's videos said, loved your social media. It's fun waving across the bay. I could see little shadows in the video. Scott's video, they were on Princess.
Oh, of course, yeah.
We've only sort of recently been in contact with Scott's via sort of the Cruise and Canucks, really, because they met up with Scott's videos in, I think it was Skagway, I believe, while we were off on a trip, which was a shame we didn't get to catch you guys. But yeah, we were following each other all around. They were coming out of Glacier Bay just as we were going in. Oh, Glacier Bay. That was just... wow, absolutely waves, and I'm sure Scott will agree. Kevin's still going on about the moves.
I thought Jill Canuck had lost the plot because when the Princess ship went past, she was waving to him, and I was like, "Well, do you know somebody on there? Do you, Jill?" She said, "Well, actually, I do."
Yeah.
So
you're all there at the back.
So we're all waving. So I was immediately made to look like an idiot, which it usually takes at least 5 minutes before I look an idiot.
So Dan the Cruise is here. He's back. He's been on Queen Mary 2 doing a transatlantic. So and that looked fab. So we were going to catch up today, but because we've been sleeping so much, we're going to catch up tomorrow. So I want to hear all about that and what tips he's got for us, because that's going to be coming up very soon.
Ooh, yes, indeed.
Indeed, for Paula's birthday. So Claire's asking, did you travel up and down the inside of Vancouver Island through the strait? If so, do you remember giving me a wave? No, we forgot. I'm totally honest, Claire. I did wave at a few fishermen and things when Paul was doing the quiz.
When I said we always tell the truth. Now, that would have been easy for Carole to say, yes, of course we did, Claire. We waved furiously like whirling dervishes, but we tell the truth. We always tell the truth.
Oh, dear. So,
and plus, I don't even know where that place is. You
said. You were busy doing quizzes with them. We were away with our lovely friends Mark and Marie from Portsmouth, as well as obviously the Cruise and Canucks. So we had such a laugh. Paul was off doing the quizzes. Now was the time that I wanted to sit in our Neptune suite, which was absolutely amazing, and just admire the views. And so I was out on the balcony as we were going through the inside passage. So I'm not sure if it went past the Vancouver Island. I presume, don't know. But I know when we came in, luckily I woke up when we come back into Vancouver at about 6 o'clock in the morning. I just managed to come into the bridge, because that's a lovely sailing, seeing all the Canada Place and Vancouver skyline was quite impressive as we cruised back in. So
now, as Claire's touched upon,
yes,
should we? So anyway,
Air Canada.
Before we went away, we had people like the Canucks, and obviously Claire's just said it now. Oh no, Air Canada. Now apparently Air Canada's got a bad rap. Now I just want to tell you how it is. They suck with a vengeance. Easily the worst. What's the word I'm looking for? What are they? An airline, the worst airline I've ever flown on long haul. To say the food was virtually inedible, the service, I mean, we've had some bad service over the years, but they were right up there with the best.
Well, apart from one man, and I wish I got his name, who was smiled, and because
he's probably been sacked, mate. When they find out when they find out he was nice to somebody.
No, because
just
the service was abrupt and rude, like Paul said. It was their version of a drinks round was holding a bottle of water up with some plastic cups. We had a breakfast coming back yesterday, and Francis, our Titan rep, said, "Don't get excited about the food going back." So, well, we're not after going out, but she says all you'll get is a dried croissant and a pot of yogurt. And quite rightly, all that came was a paper bag with a dried croissant and I had a raspberry yogurt,
which was lukewarm.
Well,
I think what they do is they try and serve everything lukewarm, whether it's supposed to be hot or cold. So we had a lukewarm yogurt and a croissant, no butter, no jam,
nothing.
When we were flying over, where we were sat, the stewardess went past us with a trolley. I asked for a beer. She said no. I just, can I have a beer, please? No. And carried on walking. And Carole said, "Oh, I need to go to the toilet, but we can't go to the toilets that way," because she was blocking the aisle, and obviously had about another 40, 50 people to serve. So we went to the toilets the other way, and only to be what's the word I'm looking for? Approached by a stewardess. What do you think you're doing? And I'd already gone in the toilet, and I come out to witness the end of the conversation. And Carole says, "Well, I need to go to the toilet, and I can't go that way because obviously she's blocking the aisle with the trolley." Well, this toilet's for premium economy. You've got no right to be here. Go and get in the queue up there.
So
thank
rude.
you ever so much. If
so I was bursting by this point, and then that's queue behind another 20 people. Yeah. So I just was.
I think I'd have popped in the galley and stood in the corner if it had been me. So it's probably a good job I went in there. But they were truly awful. Yeah. So that was
we have fed this back to Frances.
Yeah.
Frances says this is not the first complaint. She said, but Titan have chosen to use Air Canada. She said, I feedback this every time because I get so many comments like yours. So we fed back to Titan about that.
But I can only assume that Titan use Air Canada because they're cheap. Because there's no other reason for Titan to use them. Because it's not for their wit and sparkling personality, and it's not for their food. So I can only assume they're using them because it's cheap, which is very, very disappointing because the Titan tour is very expensive.
Yeah, but the Titan tour overall was excellent.
Great, yeah. But the trouble is, your first memory of the holiday and your last memory of the holiday is the flight.
But the bit in between was
And
excellent.
that was by far the two worst bits. So very disappointing. I can't imagine anybody from Titan's on here. But if you are, pull your finger out and stop being so bloody tight and pay some extra money for this.
There's quite a few comments about Air Canada, so let's just go to them. I would have been asleep, then go back to that's why we didn't wait, Claire.
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Oh, and the best one, which wasn't even us, there was people on our trip, and they thought, right, we're going to treat ourselves, and they paid for first class.
Yes.
So when they got on the plane, the lady sat in her seat, and then a steward came across to her. Oh, has anybody told you about your seat? And she's thinking, oh, he's going to tell me about all the functions now. Oh no, what's that then? Oh, it doesn't work.
None of your functions.
None of your functions on your seat work. So basically, she had a seat that was no more use than the one I'm sat on, which cost them an extra £10,000.
Well, we don't.
We're surmising, reading between the lines.
Well,
no sorries, no
apologies.
Offer of compensation, no nothing. Well, we've pointed that out to you. Now we'll see you when we come around with your meal, and that was it.
Yeah,
I said to Carole, I said, if that had been us and we'd have done that, we've never even flown business class. But if that had been us, I've been telling them, you best get that bloke to back the stairs back up to the plane because I'm getting off.
But anyway, back to Air Canada. There with being Jack says he's been on there, and I also seen some other. Kevin saying I apologise on behalf of Canadians for the crappy service on Air Canada, and I just seen there's a code mate saying there's a spider behind you. It's on the wall beside the stairs. We don't mind spiders, do we? Actually, Paul's more scared of spiders than me. I don't know. I can't see it. Anyway, if it comes along, we'll show you. Sit down. Don't worry.
I need a drink, and we're always truthful. Yes, I have got my pajamas on.
Pajama bottom. Right then. So let's see. So I was just seeing that the as well. Where did I just see that? Yes, Cruise Boys are here as well. So let's see. Worst flight in Air Canada, AQ, one of the best flights on WestJet. Yes, Cruising Canucks told us about WestJet. So if you are if you are flying to Canada, make sure WestJet have got a very good reputation. Everyone we spoke to that had used them. Can't drink my Vimto.
I can't drink the Vimto. Well, let me see.
Apparently you can.
Oh, I can. And also, on the subject of the Cruise Boys.
Yes, I've just seen that.
They have just put out a video where they're interviewing, in my humble opinion, possibly the best cruise bloggers on the planet.
There we are. People are loving our interview with you. It must be because you're both such awesome people. So we haven't had time to share it because it's like you say, kept traveling back. So we will do some share of that on our social media. We sat down with the Cruise Boys when we were actually on, was it Queen Mary 2? So a little while back, and just talked about just life in general and cruising. So do make sure you check that out.
It was so long ago, I had brown hair then, didn't I?
No, you didn't.
No. That'd be about 40 years ago.
Let's just get rid of that because there's some rude people in the comments I can see. Look at why would anyone write that? So right. Rafael Perez, you're out. Banned. So Michelle's asking a nice question.
I didn't even have a chance to read it because of these
tell you
stupid
later.
glasses. No. I love rude comments.
No, you wouldn't have loved that one. It's
Oh, okay.
very rude.
Okay.
What was your favourite port in Alaska? Which ship were you on? Michelle, we were on the Koningsdam, Holland America Koningsdam. And favourite port in Alaska? If I was just going to get off the port to walk around and we didn't go on our excursions, because we managed to do excursions in each one of those and then spend some time there, I loved Skagway. I thought Skagway, you can't remember which one that is, can you? We went to the brewery with Mark and Marie.
That's why I can't remember.
And you did the railway.
I went to the brewery.
No, you... because it had it was lots there to...
It was, Skagway put me in mind of, it was, you know, when you go to like Disneyland or Universal or something like that, and you've got these manufactured towns, and Skagway was like that, but in a really, really good way, because all the frontages are all wooden, they're all different colors. It's really, really pretty, and yeah, you just feel like you're in another world. I
felt like I was on a cowboy set,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we learned so much on this trip about just the fronts of those buildings in a lot of these towns was built hoping that they would make enough money to, but then be able to build a house or a store or whatever it was to the same height as the frontage. But a lot of these never made enough money to actually build a second story. So it's why you see just the front is like up like a cowboy film. But yeah, Skagway was my favourite.
So they'd have the frontage with the little shop inside, but then behind the shop, they didn't actually have anywhere to live. So they used to live in tents behind the little stores, like Carole said, in the hope that eventually when they made enough money, they could either build up or build further back and not have to live in a tent. So it was fascinating, to be honest. It was really...
Donna's here. Lovely to see Donna, because we haven't seen you for a little while. So hello from tomorrow. We had last minute rush of blood, just booked a Monday departure, 10 days Sydney to Carl's on Carnival Splendor. Any tips when cruising on Carnival? Go with a very open mind and just enjoy it. It is quite wild.
Put your party hat on.
Put your party hat on. Go to the shows. We thought the shows on Carnival Celebration were absolutely superb. Suss out the quiet areas on the ship. Make sure you explore the ship early on, because we found when it does get a little bit mad and crazy, because it is a party atmosphere and you want that quiet time to just sit and chat and just or watch someone play the piano, go and find out if there's any little bars, because we found quite a few on Carnival Celebration, because you will need that time out. I
don't know what the Splendor is like. Is that a big one?
No, I don't know, because that's our first Carnival cruise. But we thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll definitely do another Carnival cruise, wouldn't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I've nearly finished episode 3 of that series as well. I'm so behind in it. But anyway, so have a fabulous time. So let's see. Claire said almost 20,000 subscribers. I know we had about 40 to go, so do check that you are subscribed to us, because we often get a message saying, oh my god, I've been watching your videos for a year and a half and I thought I'd subscribe but I wasn't subscribed. So do check that, because if we could hit 20,000, we hit 5 million views this week as well, didn't we? Which just so thank you all for your support. It really is very much appreciated.
If we can hit 20,000 before the end of this broadcast,
what are you going to do? Oh, he's worrying me now.
That'd be really nice.
Right, let's go back to, we've got so many questions here. I'm going back and forth here now. So Christine's saying, hello you two, hope you had super time on Koningsdam. We did. We're joining her beginning of September. We had a rush of blood yesterday and booked Orange Club. We're looking forward to it. Orange Club is fabulous. Now, if we had the budget to be in a cabin that has Orange Club attached every time, then we would do it. The concierge that you get and the just the communication is great. The separate dining area was brilliant, wasn't it, in Club Orange?
Oh, totally.
We've got to give a special shout out to the guys in there, because they were absolutely brilliant, weren't they?
Superb.
And also, like I said, the concierge. And it's just the finer details, isn't it? Having all your laundry done, that was brilliant. If we could afford a Neptune suite again, we definitely would, wouldn't we?
31 to go, by the way, now.
Oh, it's 31. Yes. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get there. So let's have a look. So I did whiz down a bit, didn't I?
I don't know, mate.
You did.
It's all a blur over there now. I can barely see me. Am I on there?
So Calvin's here from Manchester. I'm a cruise virgin, starting on 8th of August, and Marella discovered too. Oh, enjoy. Morella's fun. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So Vicky's saying that they booked for All American Alaska for 2025. Feels so far away. What is it like moving time zones, and what were your favorite excursions? I'm too excited to see Alaska. Time zones are really confusing. You know what we're like. We always get the time wrong. So we did 3 time zones. By the time we got from Calgary, moved west to get to Vancouver, and then obviously moved further slightly west in Alaska. So you'll go through 3 time zones. Favorite excursion, what was yours?
It's got to be the whale watching, hasn't it?
Well, we did 3. Whale watching.
What I will say, sorry to interject, what I will say is that you definitely need to do excursions, but Holland and America, they want top banana for all their excursions. That none of them are cheap.
We did 3 excursions, and the whale watching was about, I got it written down in my book. I wrote down how much we paid.
It was big kahuna
It was big kahuna burgers, yeah. But so worth it. We paid, for the whale watching, it was $239 per person. That's US dollars, not Canadian. But we were so lucky because we seen whales doing the bubble netting, and it was just magical, wasn't it?
We saw 21
whales.
Humpback whales.
And that was in Juneau.
We either saw 21 humpback whales, or we saw the same humpback whale 21 times.
We seen them in the big pods of them, wasn't there?
Well, what's fascinating as well is when you go to see them, there was only 20 people on our excursion. So we did like a walk through the rainforest. We saw a glacier, and then we did the whale watching. So it was only 20 people. So it's not, you know, we've all been on those excursions where there's like 600 people on the boat and you can't see anything. This is definitely not the case. Make sure you book the small group one, which is worth the extra money. And we had a fantastic guy called Zoe, who was an American girl who was so knowledgeable. She just graduated from university. She's like a doctor of who or whatever she was, but her knowledge was phenomenal. And she had a book, and I didn't know this, but a whale, every tail of a whale is different. And when
the flukes they're
called, and make sure you don't say that when you're drunk. So if you're lucky enough, which that's the 2 big things you want to see, is you want to see the old spurt out the blowhole, which is great.
But doesn't it smell?
Oh, it smells because it's boogers, I believe Americans call them. And,
boogers.
Bogies. God almighty. So it's bogies and snot and rotten fish and all sorts of stuff they shoot out of there. So that's smelly and horrible. But the other wow moment is when they go up, and what you want is to see the tail flick up.
Yeah.
And then when you see the tail flick up, that tail is like a fingerprint, and they're never the same. And as the people who study the whales, they've got books, and they put the tails, because, you know, not the actual tails, they don't cut them off. They take a photo of the tails, and then they can recognize.
And they give them names.
They give them names, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as you see a few, you think, oh, that's got like a double.
But Zoe recognised a few, didn't she?
She did.
She said, "Oh, I can't remember. Oh, there's."
It was fabulous.
I can't remember the names.
And I'm not saying that somebody cried, but they did.
I did. It was magical. It really was magical. And then in Skagway, we did the White Pass Railway. Now, that again cost us $279 each. It was a coach up and the train back. But that was worth every penny too. That was absolutely fantastic.
But top tip, we're giving you a lot of top tips tonight, Vicky. When you do the White Pass Railway, you can do the railway up and back, or you can do the coach up and the railway back. Now, I would highly recommend coach up, train back, because what you get then is the coach goes up one route on the road, so you're at the one side of the valley.
Yeah, you see different.
And then the railway comes down the other way, and it's far better going down than going back up anyway. So do it that way round.
Yeah,
if you get the chance.
Then in Ketchikan, we did the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show, which is very cheesy, but oh my God, these guys were so fit, but they were so skilled, weren't they? And it was so funny. And that cost us $39.95 each.
$40, and it was fabulous.
It was. So we would recommend all those things. Though the big thing was there was a lot of people on the cruise that missed it because they didn't book their excursions early. So our advice to you is, as soon as you book a Holland American cruise to Alaska, you book that excursion as soon as you book, because they're so popular, and you can see why. Because the excursions, but do budget. If you are going to do excursions in all your ports, do budget for another £1,000. Because ours was just about £800, wasn't it, altogether?
Now, what I will also say is when you got a top man by your side called Dan the Cruiser looking after you,
Yes.
there were so many people on our Titan travel tour. Now, there were a lot of first-time cruisers, there were a lot of experienced cruisers, but what there also was a lot of people who didn't have very good travel agents. And we were repeatedly hearing over the course of the land tour, oh, well, I haven't even booked in on my cruise.
I haven't done an Esther.
And I said to this one couple, so you haven't booked in on your cruise? No. I said, you haven't booked any excursions then? No. And this one guy said, and this goes to show how, and I'm not being disrespectful to anybody, but there's an element of a bit of stupidity on some certain people's part. Naivety.
I think people just presume.
And a bit of not asking the right questions, and a bit of their travel agent not telling them what they should be doing. And that's why having an experienced travel agent who's cruised and bought the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then this one guy said to me, well, it doesn't matter, does it? When I get there, I can just jump in a taxi and they can take me anywhere I want to go, like on an excursion.
Which is true. You can jump in taxis.
You can't jump in a taxi and go on whale watching, can you?
No. Because even all the tours on land were fully booked. You couldn't get anything because we had friends, the Cruising Canucks sadly had one cancelled and they tried to get on something else and they couldn't.
So wait till 8 o'clock, Vicky, and then go online and book your excursions. Because
8 o'clock.
Because that's when we finish, Annie.
Oh, it's so that is a big tip. Make sure, because you will miss out. And make sure, particularly if you're going to countries, make sure you know what you need. We had one guy on our tour that didn't fill in an Esther because he didn't think he needed it because he was going to Alaska. Well, Alaska's in the US, you need an Esther. And to go into Canada,
because that's what it's called now. Canada. I went to Canada.
Canada, you need an what was it called? Oh,
RSVP is called.
No, anyway, you'll see if you go to the website, and it's easy to fill in. You just fill in the form. You have to pay for them. It was about $7, wasn't it? It wasn't very.
Yeah, the Canadian
$9.
The Canadian
something
is. The Canadian one's very cheap. The American one's a bit more expensive, but does last 2 years. I don't know how long the Canadian.
I think it's
lasts.
about the same. But do check that. So do check. Obviously, if you're going to Alaska, you're visiting Canada and the US.
But obviously, talking to Vicky now, if you've never been to Canada or America, don't be applying for these visas until early 2025 because obviously they run for 2 years. And by the time you go, they
do them a few months before you go. Yeah, that's true. Cruising Gauge is asking about nightlife on Holland America. Now, to be totally honest, if you're looking to party till 4 a.m, Holland America is not your cruise line for you. But if you're looking for good live music, and we particularly enjoyed the Rolling Stones Rock Room, then Holland America do provide very good entertainment from a live music point of view. From a West End show point of view, that doesn't happen. However, we did see, so I really enjoyed the dance show. It's not Paul's thing, but I did enjoy the shows that we've seen actually in the theatre. So, but you're not going to get the stuff like you get on Princess or Royal Caribbean, but they don't profess to have that.
But outside of, like on the ship we were on, there's 4 entertainment venues. So there's BB King's, there's Rolling Stone Rock Room, there's Billboard On Board, and then there's the World Stage. And like Carole said, the World Stage would be the equivalent of the theatre. Yeah. But they have no theatre shows at all. What they have is they've got a dance troupe, strangely as well, which like a 5-piece, not a 6-piece. So I don't know whether they were a man or a woman down, but it was an odd number. And I did go to one of the shows and it wasn't bad, but I just feel that when I go to the theatre, just 5 people dancing to background music, to me, it doesn't work. I find it a bit sterile. Whereas Carole was like, well, yeah, as long as the dancing is good, but we found exactly the same on our previous Holland America.
I think it was our previous holiday on Holland America. I enjoyed it and felt much the same as Paul, but this show was really good with all the balls. I thought the dance show, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But if you are expecting West End type show and party until 3 a.m, Holland America is definitely not for you. No. Just spotted who's here, Mark and Marie Travels. Ooh. So that's who we spent the week with, and we had such good fun. That's Paul's. What was it you said about that question about the pike.
The what?
The you said about what's the fastest fish?
Mark and Marie, when it comes to quizzing, they are probably some of the smartest people I've ever sat in a room with when it comes to quizzing. Now, I'm pretty good, but they take it to another level, and they take things very seriously. And we're at this quiz, and the question was, what's the fastest fish in the sea? Now, apparently, I thought the answer was this, but they disagreed. I said it was a motor pike and side carp.
Oh,
it wasn't that.
No.
So, I know we asked this already. We asked it on our live last week, but it's a sailfish.
But Mark
but
and Marie went near
yes,
them.
but they were great fun. And yes, we did only have 2 drinks. But as if you recall, Mark, one of your drinks was 9.something%.
Yes, but thanks for your company. Though.
Yes,
it was brilliant. Like I said, we must do it again sometime soon. Tom and Donna here. So Alaska says amazing. It was. We absolutely loved it. So and Kevin's also put a link to the Cruise Boys video. So do make sure you check that out. And cocktails with Lisa's here. So let me see. You'll always find Mark and Marie in a brewery. Yes, that's right.
You can't argue with
that. Let's have a look. See. We've got Carole's asking about the jet lag, which we are struggling, which we've answered that before. But
this is how rock and roll Carole is. She said, when the live's over, I think I'm going to go to bed.
Well, I think we will do. So lots of people about say about Air Canada sucks, but I just seen someone say that they've always had a good experience with them. So I'll come back to that in a moment.
It was the managing director of Air Canada, I think it was.
No. So it's BBT just asking what's the itinerary for cruise and who to sail. Holland America Koningsdam, and it was Vancouver, Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan. So
with a scenic cruise through
the Inside Passage,
Glacier Bay National Park, which was awesome.
I think with if you're booking a cruise to Alaska, make sure you can get Glacier Bay on your itinerary, because that was spectacular. It was, and the ship just sits there for a couple of hours and it slowly turns around so that you see, and that one glacier, wasn't it called the Marjorie Glacier? We actually seen some calving of the ice breaking off, and that was just amazing. We're not sure, we haven't had a chance to go through your 360 stuff, but we're hoping that
I've been too busy sleeping.
Yes. And Karen's saying about best sports Sitka. Lots of people say about Sitka, but we didn't get that. Juneau was a big disappointment. Well, we were out whale watching all day, so we didn't get to see a lot of Juneau, did we? So
we did go into we went into the Red Dog Saloon, and Carole made an absolute meal of trying to drink a duck fart.
Oh yes, that's right. Oh, it's horrible. And we weren't allowed to film the Lumberjack show because there's signs everywhere. Video recording is prohibited, but you were allowed to take some photos.
So I definitely didn't video anything from the Lumberjack show. She told me off for doing it. She said, "Stop it, you naughty boy."
Yes.
So I only did a few seconds.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put what I'm going to do when I get a chance, which hopefully will be quite soon. But then, another question, I'm going on a tangent, is I've got loads of fantastic photos, and I'm going to try and put them together in the form of a short for you to look at. But I can't do it at the minute because I went to turn my laptop on today, which I've got a Chromebook, and it's
dead.
It won't turn on. So if anybody's got any advice, it was working when we left Canada, and it's now not working. Now, it hasn't been in the hold of the plane or anything, but it just it won't fire up. So anybody
who's got some advice, let us know what Paul can do. It's all right, I'm just reading it. So I'm just word times are ticking poorly. So Fran Wilson is asking, you and Mrs. Canuck were not happy with the Tamarind Diner, wondering why. I'm going 18-day cruise, so why not to have a reservation in that room? Our experience on Koningsdam was very different to our experience on New Amsterdam and Tamarind. The food was exceptional. Both times, so couldn't fault the food. What we found in the Tamarind restaurant on the Koningsdam was that we were right by the bar that was constantly making these lovely sort of tamarind-based cocktails, weren't they, with all the different Asian ingredients in. So continuous having that. What do you call it? The
cocktail making noise.
Yeah. Crushing the ice type machine. What do you call that?
An ice crushing
mixer. Yes, a mixer. Go in. So that was noisy one end, and it was busy. And the service we had was pleasant, but it wasn't. It was very rushed. It was like, we want you to get in. It felt like they wanted to get in and out. And when we'd had our meal, because we paid for the whole, have it all included, we had one specialty dining in there. The girl was adamant that we didn't, and we had to pay. And we're like, we don't. Honestly, this is what we've done. And she kept coming back saying, no, you have to pay. And we're like, can we just speak to the manager? And in the end, she came back, oh, we think we've sorted it. And I said, don't worry about it. We'll just go. Thankfully, we could go back to the Neptune Lounge. We'll see Kevin and Diana, who were our concierges, and said, look, this has happened. We fed back to them to say, look, our experience in there, if you could feedback that we felt very rushed and we wouldn't be booking the Tamarind again on this ship. And also, can you just check that we haven't been charged, which we hadn't.
So again, pro tip, we had some friends, Andy and Judy.
Yes, if you're watching.
They went the same night as us, and they had a fantastic time. So what I would do is, obviously, when you book it, don't not book it, because the food in there is top 3 of my favourite specialty restaurants I've ever been to on a cruise. The food is immense, absolutely fantastic. But if you're on the Koningsdam the same as us, when you go in through the door, you want anything that's to the right.
Exactly.
You don't want anything that's to the left, because that's right by the bar. So as you can be as far away from the bar as possible. So if you book something, go and see, X amount of days before your meal. Go and speak to the maitre d'.
Well, as soon as you get on board, I would go and
go and speak to the maitre d'. And say, I want my table up there.
As far away as the bar that you can. But the 6 of us had a meal, and we all felt, we came out of there during the meal. You could all see that we weren't normally, like the night before, we'd been with the Cruise and Canucks in Rue de Sel de Mer, which was exceptional. If you love fish, that service and the whole environment was amazing. Comparing that to the Tamarind, yes, it was a little bit more money, but the Tamarind, we all felt it was just flat, and we all came out of there like, really like, oh. We thought we were going to have a brilliant night of banter and good food and good service, and we all came out of there feeling a bit like, our last night, we saved that for the best, didn't we? Because we had such a good experience on New Amsterdam.
So, a little bit. But I think it goes to show how excellent all the service was. Because I had this conversation with Carole earlier. We have been to tons and tons and tons of meals where we've had far worse service than we got in the Tamarind. But such was the high standard throughout the cruise of the service. This slightly below par, still better than a lot we've received, stood out like a sore thumb, which just goes to, so I know it's a sort of a backhanded comment, but that, I think that was a disappointment, because we knew how good it had been before. But I have to say, I could not fault one single item of any food that we had, and I still think
my duck was well done. But I like my duck well done, but it was a little on the dry side. But apart from that, everything else was superb. Looks like Cruise Boys might have booked Alaska for next year, 14 days in Vancouver. Oh, fair play, guys. That's amazing. And Tina's just saying, the photos you post on social media are absolutely amazing. Thanks. If you're not following us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, then please do. You'll find, if you just search Paul and Carole Love to Travel, you'll find us there. So let's see what other questions we've got.
And obviously lots of stuff we put on, even though we were putting stores on every day on our Insta stories.
Yes.
If you go to our Insta feed, lots of those pictures will also be in there, so you can still go on there and still have a look at, like we were putting a post out. I mean, Carole, to be fair, was very, very lazy on this cruise.
We were so busy. I'm like, oh my God, we're 2 days behind.
I was still putting stuff on all the time.
Yeah, one or two stories a bit different to my big post.
And she's like, do you want to write a post for me? No, I don't. 10 o'clock the one night. 10 o'clock in the rock and roll room.
I asked you once.
Yeah, but not 10
he
o'clock.
Has a tough life, doesn't
he? Not 10 o'clock when I'm listening to some awesome rock
Cruise Boys
music.
just saying as well, how has never become your favourite cruise line for you both? Would you recommend it for a family? Ours? No. No, I don't think so, because there were children on board, and they do have a children's club, but around the ship, there's not facilities like other cruise lines that you've been on that have got, your water parks and your entertainment for your kids. So I think Holland America is great for couples that want to go on a cruise and have superb food, superb service, and some entertainment at night. for families, even though there was families on board. So we can't say some families might have loved it and think they're going to go back. There certainly is more families going on Holland America than we expected. And talking to the Cruise and Canucks, there never used to be families at all on Holland America, so they are getting more popular. So it'd be good to speak to someone who has got kids on Holland America, because we only can say what we can observe. But our first gut feeling would be there are other cruise lines. I think that, you know, Josh and yourselves would be more entertained. But I might be wrong. We might be totally wrong with that. The Kids Club may be awesome.
Well, I never said anything.
Well, on the evenings though, there was a lot of kids, and that was the one thing. There's a lot of kids on there. There was a dance for the rock and roll. There was lots of kids jumping around on there, wasn't there? So whether the Kids Club wasn't much into the evening, or they chose not to go in the Kids Club, I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look. Lynn saying, do you have to put the gold package sit on the top deck of the Rocky Mountaineer? Yes, you do. If you seen in our post, we were very, very lucky. We booked silver only because gold wasn't available, because we knew gold was obviously the best to have and we wanted it to be special. We couldn't get that, so we booked silver. But luckily, they had issues with the silver carriage, so we were all upgraded to gold. So we were all sat at the second level. And if we booked the Rocky Mountaineer again, I would definitely go gold, and I wouldn't bother with silver.
No.
Because looking at the carriage's difference, the first part of the trip that we had from Jasper to Kamloops, there was lots of trees. I don't think we would have seen a lot in silver. No. Second part, we would have seen a lot because it was wide open valleys, wasn't it? Again, more open.
And I said this to Carole. I think sometimes she just agrees with me just because it's for sport. But definitely do the Rocky Mountaineer the same way as we did it.
Why?
Because I felt the views were far better the second day than the first day. So if you did it the other way around, you'd have the fantastic views the first day, and then the second, great views the first day, but the second day was definitely better. So definitely do the direction, which was from where to where? From
Kamloops to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was lots more trees on the first day, but you still had spaces where there was, you've seen a lot,
but it was still better the second day. Come on, you can say it. It was.
Kevin says his favourite excursion was the bar at Magpie and Stumping Pan.
Yeah, especially when those two people walked out and got hit on the head by a
Mexican hat. There's some fun bars in Banff. Banff was a great place. I'd like to have spent more time there. But yeah, that was great fun. So let's have a look. So the spider's back. Where is the spider? Are they seeing something we can't? Can you see it? The spider on your wall. Everyone's saying it. Cruise Boys outside was the train with every penny. It was absolutely fantastic. And Dave, I think it was Dave that said about Air Canada too, that he'd had some really good ones. Hi, Dave. Your description guy was right on, like Disneyland Main Street, only real. Yeah, it was like that, wouldn't it? Paul's getting paranoid now because he's not a fan of spiders. If there's any spiders, I have to get them out of the house. And that is true. That's true.
It's not true.
If it's snakes, frogs, or big slugs, that's Paul's job. Yeah. If it's spiders, it's me.
Yeah, so I get a lot of work getting them out, don't I?
What, snakes? Yeah, we don't get many snakes here. See, Frank is saying that he had trouble on WestJet. And Dave saying, sorry about experiencing their Canada from the 12 times round trip. Yeah. So, were you in economy, though? Because the other people that were in business and first class, apart from the broken seat, said their service was good. Oh, Rob's here. So lovely to see Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Cocktails with Lisa saying, didn't Jane McDonald do the lumberjacks, so to speak, maybe?
Wouldn't surprise me.
I think anyone that goes to Ketchikan goes to the lumberjack show. And yes, it is cheesy. And it's like Mark and Marie said, oh, everyone goes there. We're going to do something else. But, you know, we're so glad we went. It only takes up about, an hour of your time.
It was fabulous.
But it was fab. And the one guy that went up the pole was just, well, I'm back down again.
Yeah, because that's the best way to win the race. You got to go up and down.
Yes, Cruise Boy said ETA. That's the one for Canada. That's it.
And what as well, it couldn't have been more American than the girl who was presenting. So they had 4 big beefy lumberjacks, but they had a pretty blonde girl who was the host, and her name was Sweetie Pie Sue.
Yeah, Sweetie Pie Sue. And yeah, it just, there's a bit of dialogue.
And she was a sweetie pie as well.
She was.
But Carole didn't notice Sweetie Pie Sue because for some reason
All
she
the
just
muscly
noticed
men.
all the big muscly men.
But they were. It was funny, and that guy did the wood carving, wasn't it? And there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of fun, but a lot of skill, wasn't it? Really,
The skill level
absolutely
was off the
fantastic. Chain. And Vicky's saying, thanks for the Esther runs it not long before Alaska. So yeah, so make sure you get that done because you need your Esther and your ETA. Philippa's here. So love to see Philippa. And Life in the Parks. And Mark and Marie just uploaded a few videos of Koningsdam, Rolling Stone, Rock Room Band today, and there are loads more to come. They were truly phenomenal. The best band we've seen at Sea by Mars. Yeah, we couldn't get the three of them. Were like sat in the front like little excited school kids waiting for something special to happen.
We were like,
did.
We were like fangirling every night.
They were. And
Carole would say to me, "Is that it then for the next day? They do 3 shows a night, apart from one of the nights where they didn't play at all, and that was I just led in my room crying." But they did 3 shows a night, and it was phenomenal. And I refused to leave, so Carole would go off and do her own thing, then come back. Still here then? Yes.
I know. I went back the last day. It was lovely because I spent Paul was quizzing with Mark and Marie in the Neptune Suite. You had this lovely bath and a jacuzzi. So I spent a day, well, not all day in there, but a good hour or so just lounging and chilling in the bath. Then I spent time on the balcony looking at the lovely views of the inside passage. So Paulie's got a T-shirt saying he's been up the inside passage, haven't you?
Yeah. Your butler ran your bath for you, didn't
Yes,
he?
he did. Yes. So
run my bath for me, Jeeves. Yes, my lady.
Oh, someone likes your joke.
Motor pike and side carp. Not park, side carp. 2 fishes for the price of 1.
Calvin's asking, did we get the beaver tails? No, we didn't. We did see the shop, though, so we know what they are now. We just did get a chance. We thought we were going to have one in Vancouver with the Cruising Canucks, but there's no beaver tails in Vancouver that we could find.
But we did have some poutine.
Yes, like poutine. It was just like having gravy and chips, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kevin's got something there. Kevin's the IT guy, isn't he? There you are. Fix the Chrome, but they won't turn on. So we need to go back over that. I'm going to get over the comments later. Lots of people. Blender. Yes, it's called a blender. Thank you, Alison. Yeah, and Cruz saying that's a good tip. For once, turning right is better than turning left. Yes, exactly that. So Lisa's saying, how can you book excursion? We're saying next June and they're not available yet. Keep checking every week. That's what we did, wasn't it? And just make sure you got access to your to the Holland America website with you're logged in. I think
actually that's what I was doing. Carole said to me sort of once a week on a Monday morning, right, first job, go on and see if the excursions are available yet, and that's what I did.
John's asking any group cruise updates. No, it's all in place. It's all there. If you want to join us, all the information on the website. Numbers are looking crazy, aren't they? We're into triple figures now of people coming along. It's triple figures, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You're looking at me as if I got that wrong.
Well, I always like to scare.
So, yes, it's going to be fun.
Until our daddy takes our T-bird away.
Yes, that too. So, let's see. Rhonda's asking, how was our hotel in Vancouver? We had 2 hotels in Vancouver. One when we got off the Rocky Mountaineer and we stayed at the Pinnacle in Vancouver, which was great. And that was a really close. What's the matter?
It wasn't great. The room was like a shoebox and the bed was.
No, that was not that one.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
We stayed in so many. I thought that was the one in Kamloops.
No, the one in Kamloops we had 2 bigger beds, but the first one in Vancouver had the smallest. Yes, we had the smallest bed of the lot, and when we led on it was so soft that we both led down and we went.
But location was good because it was about 5 minutes walk to Canada Place and to the front there. Our second hotel was the Sheraton War Centre, which was an excellent hotel. But we did find, and I don't want to offend people from Vancouver, we found Vancouver. We loved parts of it. We went to Stanley Park. We loved the gas town. We loved walking down Canada Place. But there was a lot of sort of affluent areas, and that literally 1 block back, there was a lot of
It had a very
Open
seedy. Well, it wasn't even. It had a very seedy underbelly where there was a lot of quite open
drug use, which it happens in
Yes.
cities, but we've never been to a city where we openly seen people on a crack pipe or actually injecting heroin, and we found that quite shocking as Brits. And maybe that's we don't see that in our cities. We know it goes on, and we're not being dismissive of it, because it's really sad to see. But we found that the first day we thought, oh, let's just walk, and we ended up in this one street. And also I said, Paul, let's turn around quickly now. And because the guy he was just slumped. He was in a wheelchair with his crack pipe. And we thought, oh, so after that we got Ubers everywhere, and that was fine. Uber worked really well.
Yeah.
It was very reasonable. But we did really enjoy the gas town. We seen the clock, the old steam clock. We did enjoy Stanley Park, and we did enjoy walking towards the front. So yeah,
it's like
it's like any city, isn't it? I guess now, but we've never seen that.
Any big city,
openly.
do your homework.
Yeah,
know where to go, know where not to go.
Yeah. So let's go, because the hour's up. But I think we've still got so many questions that we want. Dave said the Lumberjack show was a bit cheesy, but thoroughly enjoyed it, and he was in business class, so maybe that's where the difference is, isn't it? Oh, Joe's saying that they found Emirates to be the same. Never known a flight was so rude. Oh, really? Because we've had 2 flights now with Emirates, and they were both fine. Question answered. Did you enjoy your updates on Instagram? Did you choose Holland America, or was it your agent? We've always wanted to cruise with Holland America because we've always heard very good things about them. So it was our choice initially. So, and we're glad we did, and we will definitely cruise with Holland America.
Yeah,
great.
Yes.
The service, they're happy. When we came back from P&O Ione, and we said, oh, we were a bit disappointed that the crew were unhappy. We came back from Marella Voyager, and we're like, oh my God, happy crew. And Holland America was the same. Koningsdam, the crew were all smiling. They all stopped for a chat. You couldn't fault it, could you, Paulie? And even we were invited. Thank you, Holland America. We were invited on a bridge tour and a galley tour, so really appreciate that. And when we did the galley tour, while on the bridge tour, everyone was just chatty, weren't they? As soon as you got on the galley, the staff, whether you were the guys chopping the meat up, or there was one guy with a bowl of blimmin' wasabi, and we just had such banter, and everyone just seemed happy. And we got talking to one of the officers, and she said this is the best company she's ever worked for, and she sees herself retiring. So they obviously treat their employees very, very well. Yeah. So not saying that P&O don't, because that's not, we don't know that.
We don't know
but it's just our impression of being a guest on there. It's felt a very happy ship.
But logic will dictate that if you've got a company that's treating you well, that's going to come across in your daily behaviour. But like I said, that's only a summation.
Yeah. Jake's asking, what was the best thing you ate on the trip? I had an awesome piece of halibut. I've never eaten halibut in my life, and I had an awesome piece in Rue de Sel de Mer. It was succulent. It was tasty. And when we did the galley tour, the hotel manager, what was his name? Samjet. Was it Samjet? He was really funny. He said, come on, have a look at this. And he held this halibut out. Yeah. Well, go to our Instagram. You'll see it on there. I didn't realise the halibut got so big.
They're massive. The food, I'm not a fishy person. The food I had at Rue de Sel de Mer was absolutely exceptional, I have to say. And I had the biggest lobster tail I've ever seen in my life. It was a monster. Yeah. It was 3/4 of a pound in weight, and it was humongous. But, and I know this is going to sound like the daftest thing I'm going to say now because of what has gone before, but my favourite food I had all week was I had spare ribs in tamarind, which were off the chain, just the best spare ribs I ever had. And I had a Penang chicken curry also in tamarind, which was exceptional.
It was just shame about the noise, wasn't it?
It was just the noise and the service, but food, actually food-wise,
excellent.
Amazing.
Mark and Marie saying, HAL staff were probably happy because most of them went to bed at 11:30. Yeah, one night we thought, well, let's have another drink, and all the music had stopped. So we thought, oh, we'll go. We were told, don't worry, go to the casino. It's open till 3. Got to the casino, and it was just before when last orders. It's like, oh, okay. We did have a little bit of a dabble, didn't we? We were there. They've got a casino on board, quite a decent sized casino. We didn't do too badly. We came away just about $25 down, wasn't it?
Well, let's tell it how it is. Carole came away about $150 down, and I came away about $125 up. So as we're a partnership, we were actually $25.90 down on the whole cruise. But basically, Carole would lose it, and then I would win it back.
Well, there was that, but they had a buffalo machine. I do love a buffalo. No, never to eat them, but
well,
you had a bit of buffalo.
I had some
in Banff. We went to a place called the Grizzly House, which do specialise in fondue with Kevin.
On a recommendation from one of you lot, I believe, one of our gang.
Yes, it was.
Yes, and we did, and we had a cheese fondue, which was amazing, and we had a cook your own meat, and you could have like various packages. And because Carole likes to be, live life on the edge, she had beef and chicken. Kevin had some humongous prawns, as I recall.
Yes.
He didn't share any though, which was a bit disappointing. He did offer.
Obviously. He did offer,
and I had beef buffalo. No, did I have buffalo, bison, something?
You had buffalo, bison, elk, and venison. Venison.
Yeah.
So let's see. I think we're
so
going
I,
over the
I
hour now.
Ate more wildlife than I saw.
Jack's asking, did I have a good birthday? I had a wonderful birthday because I'm Rocky Mountaineer, and it was absolutely brilliant. Life of Park said there's a great crew on Iron last week, bar the one guy in 710 who drew his thumb across his throat when I tried to call him across for a drink.
Oh, I've not even experienced that on MSC, so I mean that's quite impressive.
Kelly's just saying, thank you for your show. You just delivered so much fun. I agree on the band in the Rock and Roll Room on the Koningsdam is incredible. It is. They were absolutely phenomenal. Or some bands, there's a few people that shine. They all were incredibly talented.
It's one of those situations where they were a 5-piece band. They all had totally different personalities, and there was no weak link. That they could all. I didn't hear the bass player sing, but somebody said she did sing, but she did lots of backing harmonies. But she had a unique.
Yeah.
She was described by the lead singer as the Wednesday Addams of rock, and if you saw her performing, you know why. But absolutely phenomenal bass player, and she looked very shy, and you think sometimes she looked almost a bit nervous to be there. And the next thing, she would just walk onto the dance floor and dance with everybody while she was still playing her bass.
Fascinating to watch.
Tommy, one of the lead guitarists, is probably one of the best guitarists I've ever seen in my life. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm talking, I've seen Richie Blackmore and people like that play guitar. He was right up there. Just absolutely bonkers. Drummer was amazing.
Yeah, it's all good.
Matt, the other guitarist and singer, was amazing. And Dr. I can't remember what her name was, but she was a doctor in music, and she played the keyboards and sang as well. And she hit notes I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, she did. It was absolutely fantastic. I think we're gonna have to slow down now. Not slow down. Kevin said he offered the shrimp. He did. Kathy just looks like she's not had a very good experience on Disney. So join us next week, Kathy, and let us know a bit more about that. We've not done Disney and we've got no intention of doing Disney, but it'd be good for other people to know. So join us next week. Our live next week is going to be Tuesday. Paul's Away Racing next Thursday, and Kengo Cruising is doing his live next Wednesday. So we're going to do ours on Tuesday. So we will be back there at 7 o'clock. Claire's just mentioned about, it's called the DTAS, Poorest Postcode in Canada. Should have mentioned it, part of the reason the mild climate here and the opioid crisis. I walked down the Great Mexican Place. Yeah, it was, which, it's a beautiful city in parts, but it was just a little bit of a shock to see that.
And to be fair, I want to point out that we didn't get any hassle off anybody.
No, we didn't.
And they just seemed to be going about their business like it was a completely normal thing. But like I said, I've seen stuff like that on the television, but to be standing next to somebody. And when you see somebody in a wheelchair and they were all slumped over, I looked over and I thought, maybe he needs some help. And then I saw him trying to light his pipe, and I was like, maybe not then. And I got to be honest, I was quite shocked. But yeah, I mean, we didn't get hassled by anybody.
No. Though outside our hotel, there was a lovely group of 4 Welsh people on our trip who were just such a laugh. And actually, Wayne witnessed someone trying to be mugged outside the front of the hotel. So what you do, is it spider talk again, is it? So Spider's just gone behind the mirror. Oh, Rachel. Yes, Rachel was the keyboardist. That's right. That's right. They're fibbing. It's going to creep up the stairs, Paulie, when you go to bed and come and get in your ear.
I don't want to say this because it might cast aspersions on our housekeeping, but it might be a cobweb.
Well, you need to get back to your chores, Paulie.
Back to my chores, yeah.
So another quick hour and a great life, folks. Thanks then, everyone. It's been a pleasure as always. Like I say, we'll be live again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we will chat to you then. Anything you want to add, Paulie Morgan?
Nothing at all.
No. Thanks. So there is no spider. Is everyone taking the mickey then? Anyway, I don't mind. So let's just see. There's lots more comments coming in, but we're 10 past the hour, so we best go.
Because we got to go to bed.
Because we've got to go to bed, yes. So thanks, everyone, for joining us. Much appreciated, and we'll see you all again very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.